Loyalty for L.
Whoa. Loyalty for L, man. That's loyalty for life, not for a little while, man. Loyalty for L, man. That's loyalty for life, not for a little while. What's going on, man? Loyalty for L, man. That's loyalty for life, not for a little while. Loyalty for L, man. That's loyalty for life, not for a little while, man. Loyalty for L, man. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. So subscribe to my channel, like, comment, man. You want to subscribe to my channel? I guarantee you're gonna subscribe after this story right here. This story right here is deep, fam. So y'all wanna know about your first day, how your first day gonna be. Whoa, loyalty for L, man. That's loyalty for life, not for a little while. We standing on that. Before I get into the topic of today, man, let me say this. Life has taught me, and it's still teaching me, that the trip, the stumble, and the fall is part of the process. It can be a blessing or a curse. A curse if you stay down, a blessing if you continue to get up. You know what I'm saying? But this is part of the process. You're going to continue to trip, stumble, and fall your whole life. But every time you get up stronger, you get up with another lesson. You get up more prepared. I know a lot of people, the masses, they laugh at the trip, the stumble, and the fall. You know what I'm saying? They laugh, they poke fun. Even for the person that's tripping, stumbling, or falling, it can be even embarrassing to him. You know what I'm saying? But that's just due to the lack of knowledge. Because the only way you can trip or stumble is if you got motion. The only way you can fall is if you stand up. You know what I'm saying? So when you trip, stumble, and fall, you might hear laughs, you might hear jokes, you might see memes. You know what I'm saying? But those are just coming from the people who tripped, stumbled, and fell and didn't get back up. You know what I'm saying? So their laughs, they jokes, when they poke fun, they do that in the hopes of killing your spirit and in the hopes of you can't get back up. Because those people with the jokes, those people who are spectating, those are the people who are still on the ground. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who that was for, man, but let's get into the topic. Friday night fights. See, I know a lot of y'all probably heard about Friday night fights, you know what I'm saying? And for those of y'all who haven't, though, I'm finna explain to you what Friday night fights is, how it came about, and what it's for. You know what I'm saying? As y'all know, Ferguson unit was my first unit, and Ferguson unit is one of the units where Friday night fights actually originated at. You know what I'm saying? But this is not a myth. Friday night fights is true. This does happen every Friday. You know what I'm saying? But it's basically a day picked by the inmates, approved by the officers for the inmates to, handle their business. During the week, Monday through Thursday, it's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with prison. There's a lot of working going on. There's a lot of school. It's a lot of administration as far as wardens, a lot of rank on the building. We rack up time is at 10 o'clock. It's hard to find out. It's just a lot going on during the week. But Friday is the time to where, first of all, rack time is at 1 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? After like 10, 11 o'clock, the rank leave. The highest rank on the unit after like 10, 11 o'clock is going to be maybe a lieutenant. So it's not going to be a captain, a ward. It's not going to be none of that after 10 o'clock. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, don't nobody really got to work or go to school. You know what I'm saying? But this is a day to where if you had anything on your chest during the week or during that month with anybody and you just haven't had the time to get up with them, this is the day to where you got that time. And don't get it confused. It's a lot of fights during the week in prison. Like, it's a lot of people fighting. There's a lot of fights going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know what I'm saying? But Friday is a day to where it's the most fights going on. And the biggest fights. Like, the who's of the who's stepping out. So you already going to pretty much know who's fighting Friday because it's been talked about all week. The anticipation of Friday night fights is real. You know what I'm saying? And they going to tell you, like, gang members, mandatory day room. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a part of something, you mandatory coming out there. They going to tell you, don't come to the day room if you ain't trying to fight. If you're not trying to fight, stay in the cell. And best believe they taking notes on who's staying in that cell Fridays and who's coming out. You know what I'm saying? That's going to determine who paying and, you know what I'm saying, that type of stuff. But Friday night fights is a day to where it's strictly recreational and it's rules. One-on-one fight. Let them get back up. only come from the shoulders. No kicking, no knees, no elbows, just fists. You know what I'm saying? It's rules. It's rules and regulations on Friday, and to break them, it's repercussion. You know what I'm saying? It's a fight. You know what I'm saying? And I know y'all thinking like this might sound wild. It might sound wild. It might sound dangerous. It might sound crazy, but to be honest with you, Friday night fights really was put in place for a good reason. You know what I'm saying? Let me explain the difference between a fight, a lineup, and a riot for y'all real quick. A fight, that's one-on-one. You and somebody else, y'all go a couple rounds, boom, that's a fight. A lineup, it can be these two people fought each other, next, two other people fought each other, next, two other people fought each other. That's what Friday night fights is, a lineup. And then you got a riot. And a riot, y'all know what that is. That's a Royal Rumble, everybody fighting everybody. You know what I'm saying? I say that to say this. Sometimes a fight can lead to a lineup, and then a lineup can lead to a riot. You know what I'm saying? But Friday night fights is a lineup. And when I say a lineup, meaning it's a bunch of different one-on-ones right after each other. Sometimes simultaneously. So it might be a one-on-one over here in this corner, and it might be a one-on-one over here under the TV, then it might be another one-on-one on the run. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lineup. When two men can't come to a verbal understanding, then it becomes physical. And that's how the fight takes place, to resolve the problem. If the fight escalates, then it becomes a lineup. If the lineup escalates, then it becomes a riot. But all the fight and the lineup are set in place to prevent the riot. I don't know what y'all been told about, like, you know, being on that yard or being in prison or, you know, inmates and being on a maximum security unit or whatever. But I'm finna tell y'all right now, nobody wants to have a riot. Nobody. Nobody wants to have a riot. You know what I'm saying? Inmates will do everything in their power to prevent it. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, we all got egos. But nobody wants to have a riot. It's too dangerous. It's too costly. Everybody loses. You know what I'm saying? So inmates will go the distance to keep that from happening. And that's where Friday night fights comes in at. Friday night fights is one of those things to where it keeps the tension down. Because now people are not walking around all week, all month, all year with stuff on their chest. You know what I'm saying? So Friday night fights is the designated day to where you can get that off your chest. You got one time a week to where if somebody looked at you wrong in the hallway and you ain't like it, you don't even got to know them. You can go ahead and get that off your chest. You don't got to hold on to that. You know what I'm saying? And this prevents other things from happening, like violence. You know what I'm saying? And it's encouraged. Friday night fights is encouraged, bro. It's just a fight. It's encouraged. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just fighting. Ain't no stabbing. Ain't no jumping on nobody. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? The way Friday night fight starts and ends can differ depending on the section and the tension that's going on with the masses at the time. But I'm just gonna give y'all an example of kind of like how a Friday night fight might go and how it might start. So they gonna do a rack. They're gonna do a in and out. It's gonna be the last in and out. It's gonna be probably about 11:30, 12. That once they do that in and out, everybody gonna go in, and that's when they gonna get everything ready. Like if they don't already have it in their room, they hand wraps, they mouth guards, they tennis shoes. You know what I'm saying? Boys gonna be in their zone. Boys gonna be ready. You know what I'm saying? And this is the day to where you make a name for yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you don't got a name, you can make a name. If you already got a name, you can enforce your name. You know what I'm saying? The who's and the who's are popping out on this day. You know what I'm saying? And people is watching. People is paying attention, observing. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's a sport. You feel me? But people want to see, like, is he really like that? You know what I'm saying? He be walking around like this. Is he like that? He be talking like this. Is he like that? You know what I'm saying? He be looking like this. Is he like that? So boys trying to see, you know what I'm saying, that if your squabble game match your mug or match your demeanor, you know what I'm saying, or match your aggression. Let's just say it start like this. Everybody come out with their shoes on. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to probably be blood and Crip, black and Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Black and white, Mexican and white. 9 times out of 10 it's going to be like that. Every now and then, it be Crip on Crip. You know what I'm saying? Mexican on Mexican, shit like that. But make no mistake, it's always going to be a blood brazy dog on the section. if not a few of them, it's always gonna be at least one. And it's always gonna be a Crip crazy cuz on the section. You know what I'm saying? If not a few of them, at least one. So it's probably gonna start with them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I want you, bro. You know what's up, man. Y'all don't feel like you like that. And they gonna squabble. And it might have been, people might have had other stuff on their mind on who they wanted to fight, but this fight could change everything, how everything go on. Because now it's not a fight, it's a lineup. You see what I'm saying? So if the Crip gets the best of the blood, then the blood gonna have homeboys who are not liking that. If the blood get the best of the Crip, then the Crip gonna have homeboys who not liking that. You know what I'm saying? So the whole time they fighting, you got Bloods on the sidelines, you got Crips on the sideline like, whoop that nigga blood, whoop that nigga blood. And you got the Crips like, whoop that nigga cuz, whoop that nigga cuz. Me personally, whether my homeboy winning or not, I'm really not just paying too much attention to that. I'm more so paying attention to the sideline, like the ops homeboys. I'm more so paying attention to them, like seeing who cheering him on, who happy to, when certain stuff take place. And that's kind of who I want. Like, hey, look out, bro. Hey, you over there cheering like for your homeboy. Hey, when they get done, we got that. There you go. Now that's the second fight. You know what I'm saying? And then we and then it goes from there. And this is gonna go on for an hour and a half, 2 hours, bro. Squabbling. You might get in 2 or 3 fights, just depending on how you feeling. You know what I'm saying? But that's how Friday night fights go, and it's not gonna be nothing after that. It's not gonna be no tension. It's not gonna be no. It ain't gonna be no stabbings. It ain't gonna be no animosity the next morning. It might be, I want that back next Friday. You know what I'm saying? But it's really recreational. It's rules and regulations. And it's set in place for a good reason, bro. It's not set in place just so we can beat up on each other, just so we can mess over each other. It's set in place so we don't unalive each other and we can keep the tension down. So imagine you on a 3,500 man unit. You know what I'm saying? And every section on this unit, every block, every wing, Friday night fights is going on Friday. Every section, every block, every wing. The officers seeing it. It's normal to them. You know what I'm saying? They gambling on it. They trying to see who won out of such and such. They trying up and down the hallway trying to catch the best fights. Friday night fights, heart checks, gang members taking advantage of solos. These are some of the things or some of the reasons why people didn't want to come to Ferguson unit, bro. Like, people used to didn't want to get off the bus. Like, I done seen grown men cry, like, don't want to come to the unit. Like, sit down, stay down. Like, the law got to drag them onto the unit by their handcuffs. You know what I'm saying? Scared to come on Ferguson unit. And you can feel it. As soon as you come through the back door, you can feel it. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a certain type of man to be able to make it and thrive on Ferguson unit, man. It's not for the weak. Ferguson is one of them units that got a reputation for being dangerous. I heard about Ferguson from the streets, you know what I'm saying? So for me to get my travel card and they got an FE on it, FE means you're going to Ferguson. So when I leave the county and I see I got an FE on it, I'm like, even me being a young wild, I was still nervous, you know what I'm saying? The Friday night fights I was hearing about, the heart checks and how dangerous it was, you know what I'm saying? I was a little nervous, you know what I'm saying? But I was more intrigued than anything. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was more intrigued than anything. I caught the ass and the Friday night fights on Ferguson. When we had stopped doing it, I ain't gonna lie, I was really kind of like in my feelings behind that. Like I had grew to really look forward to that Friday night fights, man. Like, it was just something to look forward to at the end of the week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But you know, Friday coming, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be fun. But yeah, every Friday, the inmates is punching depending on what unit you on, depending on where you at, depending on when you got there. But every Friday, they punching and it's recreational, man. And this is not a myth, you know what I'm saying? And they punching and they shaking hands and they punching and they hugging, or they punching and they just walking away not saying nothing to each other, you know what I'm saying? But it's going on, man, you know what I'm saying?